Hello and welcome, everybody. My name is Katherine D. USA Today bestselling author, reader, book reviewer, editor, and I'm here to welcome you to the very first ever episode of SPFBO News, or SPFBO News, as we affectionately call the contest for those of us who are participating in authors. I'm so glad that you are here. We've got a full agenda for you tonight, but in short, I'm so happy to have you as part of the very first episode of this brand new series. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, please know that this is going to be a recurring series. I'll be coming back on at 8:30 p.m. Central Time every Monday for the foreseeable future to bring you SPFBO News. So like and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when we go live for next week's. With that, we are going to dive right in. So before we really dive in too far, I've already told you a little bit about myself, other than the fact that I'm also the mother of cats. I've got 3 cats. If you're tuning in and you're an author or reader and you have 4-footed friends who are watching, drop them in the comments. Let me know what kind of familiar you have. Hey, Katherine M. Walker, good to see you on. In short, I love everything about books. As you can see, I work as a professional editor for a day job, and I have my nose in books all day long. I review books for fun, primarily through Readsy Discovery, and then also write books myself. But we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about SPFBO. SPFBO is the self-published fantasy blog off. It happens annually, and 2023 is the 9th year. Hey, Australia and Daniel, wow. New York, pretty big differences. So for those who don't know, SPFBO is a contest that's organized by Mark Lawrence. There are 300 self-published fantasy books involved. 10 fantasy book bloggers are then coordinated by Mark to judge those books with about 30 per blog, and one winner is assigned at the end. This could not be a SPFBO newscast or a SPFBO blog or anything SPFBO-y without acknowledging the man, the myth, the legend himself behind what we are doing as part of this contest, and that is Mark Lawrence. Mark is an acclaimed fantasy author with multiple award nominations under his belt, and the book That Wouldn't Burn being one of the most recent books that you can see here on the bottom left of the screen. I have heard many great things about. Mark organizes all of this stuff out of the goodness of his heart. He doesn't charge authors to be a part of this contest. So thank you, Mark. If you're not already following Mark, I have put his link to the blog, which you see on the bottom of the screen here if you're watching on Twitter, up on the YouTube description box so that you can easily give his blog a follow for up-to-date updates for SPFBO there as well. Oh, we got people. JP is on from Ottawa. And we've got someone from Maryland. Thank you all for joining tonight. This year in SPFBO, as usual, there are 10 bloggers, but here are the 10 bloggers for people who are coming across this for the first time. We have Fantasy Faction. By the way, these are not listed in any real order. This is just the order that they were in on Mark's blog. So if you're wondering why they're out of order alphabetically, that's why. Then there's the Fantasy Book Critic. Lynn's Book and the Critiquing Chemist are teaming up for the 3rd blog. The Weatherwax Report. Becky M., who is a booktuber. Before We Go blog. Queen's Book Asylum. Bookborn. Philip Chase, and Covers with Cassidy. Now, all 10 of these bloggers are assigned 30 books. So they have to work through those books over the time period allotted, decide which ones they're going to put forward as fantasy finalists to go toward that one winner at the end of the self-published fantasy blog off competition. Yeah, tough competition this year too. You can see the full list of all 300 SPFBO books, if you have missed them somewhere, on either Mark Lawrence's blog, which, as I mentioned earlier, is linked in the description box, or on Zach Argyle's blog. Zach has a very nifty filtration system in his where you can filter by the KU status, the audiobook status, or the blog itself to go through and cripple your TBR lists like I have with mine. Those are both, though, are very good references to start with if you're not sure which books are in the contest and you're not sure which ones you want to read. You can also collect some of the books in this contest for a steal right now. In July, over 80 different SPFBO authors have gotten together to put their books on discounts or free with KU, or some of them perma-free just for the month. So I guess not perma-free, but free for the month for readers who want to check out SPFBO books. The link to all of those 80 books can be found in the description box as well. If you would like to meet some SPFBO or SPFBO9 authors, and you're already on YouTube and you're watching this on my channel, there were also a bunch of kickoff panels that I did interviewing these authors. We met 30 plus authors, I believe, on this, and there's an entire playlist devoted to them on the channel page, so go check that out as well. Getting into the news for this week, today on SPFBO News Weekly, these are the statuses that I have put together based on Mark's blog and the individual bloggers themselves. Right now, there are no finalists. It's too early in the competition for that. Right now, we're in phase 1, which means the bloggers have pulled their 30 books apiece, and they have to decide which ones move on to semifinalists. So that's sort of where we are right now. 4 semifinalists have been announced, which I will show in this video. 24 books have been cut from the competition altogether, and 272 of the 300 books are still undecided and in the running for phase 1. In Mark's number on the blog, I believe he keeps the semifinalists in with the undecided, but I found that to be really confusing as an author. Just no offense to Mark or his great system, but for the sake of tracking week to week, the undecided category are the ones that have just been marked either safe or they have not been read at all. Now we're going to break down how many books have been read, by which blogs, which books were cut, and which books were safe. I'm going to start with Fantasy Faction, which is power loaded with amazing books. Right now, they have 30 of 30 books left to read. I don't show any books as having been cut or semifinalists according to Mark's blog when I pulled this for you guys today. Then we have Fantasy Book Critic, which is the blog that The Violet Twisted Fate, my book, is in, along with some other great competition. 24 books are left to be read and reviewed and decided upon in that category. 5 books have been cut from the competition, and 1 book was announced as a semi-finalist. So we're just going to top a moment here and raise a drink to the 5 fantasy finalists who were cut, or fantasy participants who were cut, rather. We have Ben Green's Forged in the Fallout. We have The Monster Hunting. We have The Crown and the Blade, A Crack in the World, and The Outside. So I raise my glass to all of you fellow compatriots in this mission. It takes so much bravery to put your books out into the world. And the fact that you did that and you were brave and you risked potentially scathing reviews is how I sort of view it as an author in this contest myself. To put it out in front of the public eye is very admirable. I think that all the reviews that were done by Fantasy Book Critic of these books had strengths and weaknesses for all of the books and very clear reasons for cutting them. And I won't go into that here on the news because this is just a summary. But if you would like to read their blog, I have linked the Fantasy Book Critic blog in the description box. So all the links that I'm going over in this video will be handy for you in the description box. So you don't have to go search through Twitter or search through blogs or search through forums to find them. They're all in the description box for you guys. Yeah, so we've got Catherine raising a glass, Laura raising a glass. Laura pulls out popcorn. The stats I've been waiting for, yes. Christian raises a glass. Steve, hey. All right, on to the next blog. We get to Lynn's books and The Critiquing Chemist. It's actually been quite quiet over in that realm. I believe there's been some personal things possibly going on with the blogs, but this is not a rumor mill. This is just stats tonight, so we're going to get right to the stats. There are still 30 of 30 books left for them. No books cut, no semifinalists at this time. Shifting from there to the Weather Wax Report, we have 26 books left to read, and you'll notice that some numbers aren't adding up here. One book has been cut. There have been no semifinalists, but only 26 books left to read. That is because the Weather Wax Report has marked some of their books safe. If you would like to see which ones those are, you can go to their blog to see them. I have that in the description box. I won't be reporting on the ones that were just marked safe because there are so many of them. So I will say which ones are cut and which ones move through to semifinalists, though. We're going to raise a glass for the one first fallen in the Weather Wax Report, which is the Lady Jewel Diviner. This is a gorgeous cover. By the way, Rosalie Oakes, I'm so sorry that you've been cut first in the blog, but kudos to you for making it this far. Moving on to Becky M. This is one of our booktubers. Becky M does video reviews, so if you love watching reviews on YouTube, there's her handle down in the bottom. But Becky M has 24 books left to read. 3 of the 6 books she has read have been cut, and there have been no semifinalists put forward yet. And it looks like the official stance is between 0 to 2 semifinalists per blog, which means most likely going to have at least 1 per blog. But right now, nothing's been announced. So if you're in Becky M's blog, congratulations. You're doing great. You still got a chance. Here we've got the 3 fallen from Becky's blog. We have the Western Invasion. We have the Garden Gnome. And we also have Eve's Apple. Raising a drink to all of you. And I love all the drinks in the comments. Yeah. Yes. All right. The Before We Go blog has 28 books left to read as of tonight. 1 book has been cut, and 1 book is a semifinalist. Otherwise, it's been sort of crickets. The 1 book that was cut was Wild-Eyed Southern Boys by Sean McGee. So, condolences to you, Sean. It's always hard to be the first one to go. Next one is The Queen's Book Asylum. 24 books left to read on their front. 5 of them have been cut, and 1 of their 30 books is a semifinalist. The 5 books that were cut from the Queen's Book Asylum blog is Wings of the Storm, The Spider's Friend, Endless Seas, Marked by Fate, and Rebel Unicorn, which, by the way, is a very pretty cover. If you see any of these books that have been cut and they're on your TBR or you've read them, I'd love to hear about that in the comments, especially for readers who are coming to check out these books. All of these bloggers are choosing books based on their personal preference and their personal opinion, and that doesn't necessarily mean that the books are bad. And there are many, like I said, strengths listed in the reviews for most of these books, even the ones who are cut. So if you're a reader and you see a cover that stands out to you or a title that stands out to you, you might still want to go check out the book on Zach's list or on Mark's list and just read the review and then check the book out for yourself, because it might be just the book that you're looking for. Next, we have the Bookborn blog. They have been reading a lot of books, but so far no books cut and no semifinalists. They have 24 books left to read as of today. Then we have Philip Chase, who is another YouTuber. Philip has 30 books of his 30 left to read. 0 books cut, 0 semifinalists. This was shaping up to be a bloodbath of the fallen. It sort of feels that way. Of course, this is my first year, so I know I'm a little bit of a newbie. Plenty of the cut books sound interesting to me. Cut doesn't mean bad. Absolutely. Especially when you have competition like this. You know that if you are getting cut, you're getting cut among some of the absolute best in the indie industry. There have been phenomenal books this year. It's just an honor to be here with everybody. Next, we have Covers with Cassidy. And going back to that bloodbath comment, Katherine M. Walker said, 9 books have been cut. Covers with Cassidy has been rocking her reads. She has 18 books left to read, 9 books already cut, 1 semi-finalist. So quick math for everybody. That is only 2 books that are in the safe category that have not either been cut or moved to semifinalist status yet. Yes. So here we have 9 cut books. I was able to squeeze 7 here onto this little slide for you guys, but I will try to get the ones that I'm missing on the next go round. So there are those. We have Ash and Blood, Grace Defend Us, Otter Still, The Regeneration, The Mambo Wizard, Love Crafted, and The Nightingale Prince. And then we have our first semifinalists. These are the 4 semifinalists who have been announced at this point. So hail to the first semifinalists of SPFBO9. We have A Gallery for the Barbarian by Taylor Hartley, Scarlet and Sunder, Master of the Void, and The Way of Unity. Yeah, I was confused too. So there were 2 that I left off, Steve, because I was not sure 100% that they were cut. That's why there's only the 7. If you go on Mark Lawrence's blog, any of the titles that have been changed to red, the author names who are red, they have been cut. And there were 7 who were cut on the blog in red. And the other 2, I was like, I'm pretty sure they were cut, but I didn't want to put them on the slide prematurely. So I'll have an update on those next year. But yes, congrats to the semifinalists. So now that we've gotten through the stats, we're out on the other side. We're going to talk a little bit about where to find SPFBO authors, since this is the first episode, and I've been scouring the internet for SPFBO news today. First, there's the official Mark Lawrence moderated Facebook group for SPFBO. It's titled SPFBO. You can go to Facebook and you can search there and request to join. Second, if you're on Twitter and you don't really have Facebook or Discord or the other stuff, search for the hashtag SPFBO or SPFBO9, and you'll be able to find lots of other authors and judges and bloggers and Mark, and you can follow them and get updates on their news there. We've got lots of congrats coming. Steve, Laura, yes. And then finally, there are Discord servers. The Discord servers, to my knowledge, are not official. They're not moderated by Mark, but there are several that were put together by different authors. If you're interested, you can probably ask some of the other authors in the community, and they can drop you the names for some of those. But from what I've been told, Mark doesn't have an official one for everybody. So the Facebook group is where to go to stay in touch with Mark's news more real time. Next week on SPFBO News Weekly, I'll be coming back with updated blogger stats. I'm also going to start spotlighting some author interviews that have been done within the community and author events where the authors are going to be going out live to meet people. So if that interests you, that will be coming up next week. I'll also have a quick reference to any sales like I did today at the beginning with ones like the one that had over 80 or giveaways from SPFBO authors. If you're watching and you're a SPFBO author and you're worried that maybe I've missed a giveaway or an event or an interview that has to do with you, please reach out to me at contact@KatherineDGraham.com or message me on social media with your links, and I'll do my absolute best to make sure that everybody gets in on these weekly news updates, because we don't want anybody to miss out on your news. And as I said before, this is going to be a weekly event. So subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that you get notified and you don't miss anything. But this is Katherine D. Graham for SPFBO News. Thank you for joining and have a great rest of your night.